So why do people work? This question might sound very basic or irrelevant. That's why the episode is divided into two parts. Why do people work, or why do people keep working? Work is the activity someone engages in at the expense of time and energy. Therefore, a reaction might be considered as work. A job, however, is any activity one engages in that is of value or produces something of value to other persons who have to pay, usually in currency, related to an amount of the perceived value of that product or service. So why do people get a job? It's quite popular to get answers claiming people work for different reasons, but it's as basic as the fundamental human needs that has existed and persisted from history. People work for mostly to acquire food, shelter, and clothing, either for themselves or for other people they care for who may be unable to afford these necessities. Therefore, since money is the commonest and universal medium that is used in getting these needs sorted, it is safe to conclude that people work to get money. People get a job or jobs because they have needs that should be met for different and mostly personal reasons, and usually in their best interest. Normally, you must have something of value that can be appreciated or useful that can enable you to provide your own needs. It is in this constant chemistry between need and provision, form an ancient commerce of trade by barter, the common economics of buying and selling, that the world becomes a biological market for the interchange between human possessions. It's a symbiosis between the peculiarity of and the differences in needs at any given time. So why do people constantly continue working? You can start seeing this from the theory of need and provision using a case study of food. The organs in the body are powered by energy. Energy derived from breaking down food from their harvested nature into usable, usually soluble forms that keep the organs effectively attending to their designated function. Failure to have this energy in the right amount needed for healthy body operation leads to discomfort and irritation that may be as basic as hunger, moodiness, to chronic health condition of ulcer, malnutrition, a number of its damaging consequences to extreme cases of starvation and death. The palates of the tongue and mouth, however, could be triggered to crave for certain foods with delicacies that makes a person become sentimental about overtime, and consequently eating itself may be indulged for the fun or luxury of it. Hence, the need to consume certain varieties of that makes the person just feel good, reminiscing about a certain point in time, or simply just to feel special. Now, how does all this history, biology, and technicality lead to why people get a job? There are farmers that understand that people need to eat, and a great number of these persons never grow their food. So they get into the business of planting, nurturing, and harvesting different food types to fill the basic human necessity. Just in the business of food, the cultivation, the distribution, and the preparation of it presents a myriad of job opportunities. By some form of historical or cultural disposition through faith, one may not necessarily need to understand why this phenomenon of the need of food and the modus operandi From cultivation to preparation need to be in a place, but may just be naturally the best position to provide such goods and services. And if the reward is valuable enough for them to acquire certain products or services that may be of need, use, or satisfaction to them, the person may go ahead and do that job. So in retrospect, it becomes a world of symbiosis between needs and provision. Therefore, in essence, the human life as it is always a constant search for an end to the means or a need to be filled or desire to be satisfied. It becomes a cycle, then an intersection of cycles of events that creates a world spinning in communications, collisions, synchronicity of being of service to a need, so as to be rewarded enough with substance of value that could get the provider of this service his own needs and service. A similar analogy could be applied to the job phenomenon in the areas of clothing and shelter. What about the non-fundamentals? There are excesses of things and activities people love that may not be important enough as ones that keep us healthy and safe. They seem to be disposition towards our psychological craving that may consequently be reflected in how sound we are and appear physically. From thoughts and fantasies, our minds could be impressed by a perceived pleasure derived from a product or service that may be insignificant to the rudiment of our existence. But this pleasure could in turn make us happier and be in moods that could better present us with profitable things to our health and well-being. It could be reading a book, watching a movie, listening to a podcast, going to a concert, engaging in virtual relationship with other worldly muse that fits the profile of imaginary soulmates. Now, we may or may not be equipped with utilities for such wants. If not, why do we search for people with such jobs to make possible the craving of ours and then pay them for providing these services? To really answer the question, people really work because they have needs that can only be satisfactorily met completely, or at least to a certain useful degree, when they in turn provide products or services with skills they possess to other people who are willing to pay for these products and services that they also need. So what's the deal about professional, regular and homegrown jobs? Chemical engineers, lawyers, creative directors for automobile companies, astrologists. This can go on for all the posh, fancy and well-respected professions types that majestically grace and parade the surface of the earth with their fashionable air and accessories due to their widely commendable and admirable intellectual contribution to the development of the world. It happens to be some people's dream jobs, probably a manifestation of wishes and fantasies from admiration they may have heard about a person or persons in that profession at a young age. These professional jobs are usually the ones that have been lauded by society from time, praised, preached, and even worshipped. Eventually, in the child's mind, it becomes a goal to grow and fill the shoes of these people who have influenced his or her thinking and probably way of life over the course of their developmental stage. From this point of view, even though ultimately the job efficiently provides the basic needs and a bonus of different luxury across different levels of magnificent and grandeur living, the child was never driven by the knowledge of the reality that getting this job, as fanciful and admirable as it may be, if it doesn't fulfill a need in the human life, a need that requires a level of sophistication of a special skill, so much so that the reward amounts to such that can afford for rich and healthy lifestyle, it will have never acquired such admiration, reverence, or ovation by the same society. Therefore, the importance of a person's job and the reward is merely a function of perceived value of his products or services, although the sophistication of financial implication, acquiring a certain skill, usually makes it rather a limited package, which therefore leads to its exclusivity, therefore making it expensive due to the rarity. Also, the availability and rarity of such goods and services affect the amount of reward given, even though this value is still of great importance to the consumer. There are a lot of people who are burnt out of their jobs. Others are so frustrated, even to a level of utter depression, as though they actually have no clue as to why they still remain in their jobs. But the reason always remains to be that they have no other job alternative, and they are in so much of a bad fix that the best option is to remain in this job or jobs to manage with whatever situation and condition they are in, for as long as they can provide for their needs. Interestingly, avoiding idleness and the need to appear responsible before God and man, well, this may be a little preposterous reason why people also find themselves in the workspace.